The restaurant prided itself on elegance, the kind of place where candles were replaced before they burned too low and the music was never loud enough to disturb the illusion of importance, yet that illusion cracked the moment the rich couple walked in, dripping with entitlement, the man's watch flashing like a challenge and the woman's eyes already searching for flaws, and from the start they treated the staff as if they were furniture, snapping fingers, correcting pronunciations, smirking. When the waitress, Lena, apologized for the third time even though she had done nothing wrong, her hands shaking slightly as she balanced their plates, her mind focused on rent due and a sick mother at home, while the couple focused on asserting dominance, complaining about the temperature, the lighting, the cut of the steak, and each complaint grew sharper, more personal, until the man laughed and said people like her should be grateful just to be allowed in places like this, his wife adding that maybe if she smiled less nervously she'd get better tips, and the words cut deeper than any knife because Lena had heard them before, heard variations of them all her working life, but tonight something in the man's tone carried a threat, and when Lena gently explained that the kitchen could remake the dish, he slammed his palm on the table so hard nearby diners flinched, glasses rattling as silence rushed in, his chair scraping back as he stood, towering over her, accusing her of incompetence, of disrespect, of wasting his time, and before she could step back, his hand shot out, grabbing her wrist, yanking her forward so her hip struck the edge of the table, pain shooting through her side as humiliation burned hotter than the bruise forming beneath her uniform, the wife laughing breathlessly like it was entertainment, phones half-raised around the room but no one intervening, fear and apathy gluing them to their seats, the manager frozen behind the bar calculating losses, and Lena's vision blurred as she tried to pull free. Her voice caught somewhere between apology and panic, until the bell above the restaurant door chimed softly, almost politely, a sound too small to matter, and yet somehow everything shifted, because the air grew heavier, charged, and a group of men in leather vests stepped inside, boots echoing against the floor, patches stitched with symbols that made whispers ripple through the room, and at their center walked a man taller than the rest, silver threaded through his beard, eyes steady and cold, taking in the scene in one slow sweep, noticing the man's grip on the waitress, the woman's cruel smile, the way everyone else pretended not to see, and he stopped just a few feet away, saying nothing, doing nothing, but the silence around him felt louder than the earlier shouting, and the rich man scoffed, still holding Lena, muttering something about bikers not belonging in places like this, unaware that he had already crossed a line he didn't know existed. Part 2. The biker gang leader spoke at last, his voice calm and low, not raised, not threatening, yet it cut through the room with unsettling clarity as he asked the man if he planned to let go of the girl or needed help remembering how to behave in public, and the grip loosened instinctively, Lena stumbling back as the leader stepped between them, positioning himself like a wall without ever touching the rich man, who tried to laugh it off, sneering about class and money, about calling the police, but his bravado wavered when he realized every biker behind their leader had gone perfectly still, eyes fixed on him with patient attention, not anger, not chaos, just certainty, and the leader turned slightly, speaking to Lena first, telling her she was safe now, asking her name, instructing her to breathe, his tone gentle enough that her knees finally gave and she leaned against a chair, tears slipping free as the tension drained. Then he faced the couple again, explaining slowly, almost like a lesson, that respect wasn't optional, that money didn't grant permission to hurt people, and that anyone who used fear to feel important usually discovered too late how small they really were. The wife attempting to interrupt with insults until one of the bikers met her eyes and she fell silent, suddenly aware of how alone they were, the manager finding his spine at last and demanding the couple leave, his voice shaking but resolute, and this time the rich man didn't argue, his face pale as he realized no one was on his side, escorted toward the door not by force but by presence, whispers following them like judgment, and before leaving, the biker leader placed a thick stack of bills on the table beside Lena, telling her it wasn't charity but compensation for a wrong that should never have happened, promising that if she ever saw him again it would be under better circumstances. Then the bikers turned and walked out as quietly as they had entered, engines roaring to life outside like distant thunder, and only then did the restaurant exhale, patrons murmuring, some ashamed, some relieved, while Lena stood there shaking, realizing that justice didn't always wear a suit or speak in polished words. Sometimes it arrived on heavy boots and leather, asked no reward, and left behind something far more valuable than money, the reminder that her dignity mattered, and that even in a room full of silence, someone would eventually choose to stand.